Good morning, everybody. We are starting once again live at lunch. Live at lunch. And let's knock this out. Let's make it happen. We're going to be covering a text, from the New Testament, still looking at hypocrites, holiness, and humility. This is our sixth part of that. And coming down the runway towards the end of our study here. And so we're going to be looking at a text from Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 through 18. Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 through 18. And I will actually be reading from the New King James Version. Right? This will be the New King James. And that'll put us right there. And this is the text. Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Amen. Some versions of the Bible do not have the word openly. They do not contain the word openly in some of those manuscripts, right? And so just keep that in mind, that that's part of what our study helps us understand, that even though we may be reading certain translations and texts, uh, all of them don't match in what is translated and what is omitted. God bless. I would also read the New Living Translation of this same text. It says, "And when you fast, don't make it obvious as the hypocrites do, for they try to look miserable and disheveled, so people will admire them for their fasting. I tell you the truth, that this is the only reward they will ever get. But when you fast, comb your hair and wash your face. Then no one will notice that you are fasting except your Father who knows what you do in private. And your Father who sees everything will reward you." Come on. That's what we're talking about. That is the text. And the text says, don't do it like that. Don't do it like them. Don't do it that way. Don't be like the hypocrites. And what's interesting in the usage of hypocrites in this particular passage, um, it's shared, according to Bible Gateway, right? It's shared that the hypocrites can also be translated as pretenders. Don't be like the pretenders. Don't be like the ones who don't really mean it. Don't be like the ones who are faking it. The imposters, the pretenders. Don't be like them. Don't be like the ones who are faking the faith. Be genuine about yours. Be real about yours. And if you're being real about it, um, let's take it from here. If you're being real about it, here goes what Jesus is teaching. Jesus is teaching it's not about altering your appearance to match your actions. It's not about altering your appearance to match your actions. You don't need to get into a certain posture to prove that you're fasting. You don't need to have a certain demeanor or appearance to prove what you're doing. Doing it technically should be more spiritual than visible, right? Fasting is giving up something and placing your faith and focus on God, right? That's removing something that you normally would take or partake in and put your faith and focus on God. Lent is a great time for people to show, I'm giving this up. And people will um, go get their ashes put on their forehead. And Jesus is saying, don't alter your appearance. In fact, clean up yourself and show up as your best self despite what you're doing. Don't alter your appearance for your action. Show up, clean your face, wash your face, comb your hair. Keep your appearance up while performing this act. That's the teaching that Jesus is saying ought to be happening. Don't fall for what they're doing. What they're doing is to get the attention of men. You do this, right, as you should, placing your faith and your focus on God. That's what you should be doing while fasting. Now, here's the caveat to that. The caveat to all of that is what we would consider the takeaway. And the caveat to all of that is what they're doing isn't about faith, and it has a focus on drawing attention to themselves so others will see, oh, look at man, he's going through it. Man, look at how devout he is. Look at how into it he is. Look at how much sacrifice he's making as unto the Lord. It appears that way, right? It appears to be that, but that's not what this person is doing. They're trying to draw attention to themselves, and they want the attention of men. They want the attention of others so that they can be seen fasting. They can be seen doing whatever ritual act it is to be recognized and quote unquote rewarded. But the takeaway Jesus says is, but you know there's the Father in the secret place who sees what you do, and he sees you because it's between you and him, because it's spiritual, and he sees you. He knows your heart, and he sees you in action, and he'll reward you, and you'll receive your reward before men as well as whatever your eternal reward is. Remember, we're not doing it to be recognized. We're not doing it to be rewarded. We're doing it because we want to place a deeper focus of our faith on God. We want to put more focus into, okay, I've been going about this and it's almost in this ho-hum fashion. How can I get deeper and go forward in my faith with God? Fasting is one way. Remember, Jesus shared when the disciples were struggling to deal with an unclean spirit. Jesus said, well, you couldn't get this one because this kind, right? This kind comes only by prayer and fasting. There's a combination that he shared. This kind only comes by prayer and fasting. And so when Jesus shares that, Jesus is saying, look, you were approaching it in one fashion because of the power I bestowed upon you, but you needed something in addition to that, because here you are, you're coming up against a spirit, you're coming up against a power that is not going to simply succumb to you showing up and sharing. It needs to be dealt with by prayer and fasting. And I think sometimes we as God's people, we as the family of God, we as Christians, sometimes we forget that it's not simply enough to have the label, we've also got to have the lifestyle. It's not simply enough to have the title, we've got to have the deeds. It's not simply enough to be claiming to be Christian. We've also got to be walking the walk, talking the talk, and living as Christ. And that's not an easy road, right? Why does Jesus say it like that? Come all ye who are what? Heavy laden, who are burdened. Come on, give me your burden and take mine. Because my burden is light. Whoa. And what Jesus is saying, let me take what you have to take on. You pick up your cross and walk with me daily. Bear your cross. And when we bear our cross, same thing with our fasting, same thing with our prayer, same thing with our giving. When we bear our cross, we shouldn't let people see, oh, here I go, y'all. All right, here we go. It's not about that. It's not about being seen. It's about enduring it. What if we had the ability to endure it silently and just take it? What if we had the ability to endure it silently and it just be between us and God? Could we live with that? Could we live without having to let the church know, hey, I'm going through something? Could we live with that? Yes, we should pray for one another. Yes, we should be there for one another. But some stuff that we're supposed to do day by day, we don't need to hold a meeting for that. We don't need to hold a deliverance service for that. We need to just do it and do it as the Lord prescribes. And so the takeaway is to not do it for men, not do it to be seen, not do it for recognition, not do it for accolades, not do it for acceptance, not do it for anything of that manner, but to do it because that's what the Lord calls us to do and expects us to do. And when we do it in a manner to where God will be pleased and satisfied with what we've done. And if there's any blessing to come from it, God will reward us appropriately. And that's where we need to be. Matthew chapter 6, 16 through 18 lays out a pretty precise prescription from the Lord on how we should handle fasting. In your own personal Bible study and devotion time, take a minute, look at it more deeply. Look at what scriptures are connected to it. Look at what concepts are layered within there. And then pray about it and ask the Lord to help you identify what else there is you can take away from this. God bless.